Welcome everyone to the Crow's Nest Podcast, episode 10. It's Ivok,
And TDZ?
and today we're basically gonna answer some question, talk about the draft mostly. This is most of the questions we receive, as well as some question about overall the future, I believe.
Yep, it looks like a lot of the draft day is related, or the questions today are related with the draft.
Which is happening tomorrow at the time we record, so it makes sense.
Yep, and then SMJHL draft doesn't have a date yet, but it looks like next week early sometime, so...
It might be actually later in the week, more later in the week than early in the week, actually.
Even then, that's fine. That allows more prospects to really get in. And
yeah, like we wanted to do it early, but then the SHL stole most of our gems, so we were, maybe we're gonna move it to give time to recruit and let the GM prepare for the draft. Which makes sense because, like, we didn't want to hire GMs and be like, okay, yeah, by the way, the draft is like tomorrow.
Have fun scouting.
Yeah, like it would have been like kind of shitty for them. So we're like, yeah, we're gonna maybe push it a bit back.
Yeah, I understand. And I mean, you have 3 technically GMs to hire, but we all know Teddy's probably going to get that Vancouver job, and he was co anyway, so I'm sure the scouting's already been done. So PGF and Detroit will be interesting to see what they do. And we have some questions on that, so we will cover that in a little bit.
We have? Oh, okay. I read them fast, so...
Alright, first up in our questions, we'll jump right into that to get these out of the way and then see how much time that takes. Blues fan, again, I love you, bud, because you're always asking questions.
Yes.
With the... Yes. With the SHL draft coming up, who's your sleeper pick?
That's hard to say.
Sleeper pick. So it's got to be somebody later. I mean, to be honest, this draft probably is only going to have about 1 round-ish of decent players. I mean, there's top-end, like high-end players, like every draft, and those players will be great. But it kind of takes a big drop-off.
Yeah, after actually the 12-1, maybe not even, the player take a drop. Like.
Yeah. So I would say late first round would be considered a sleeper, because I don't think they'd be considered to be active in this draft, or at least completely active.
Yeah.
And if they did well, then that's out of nowhere.
And we also don't have the full prospect list right now. Like, I didn't go look at everyone, to be honest, so I have no clue about, like, all of them. But I'm looking at the draft, like, SMGHL Season 36 draft. And, like, all the name I see, I'm like, maybe not.
I have a prospect list because I've been scouting, so...
Oh, so you can, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a week old without me updating it. Yeah, last edit was 8 days ago, so it's been a while since I've updated it.
Yeah, but at least you have all the players. I don't, so.
Yeah, I would say, let's see here. Oh, sorry, my dog's making noise, so this would be great on the podcast.
I didn't hear it, so it should not.
If everybody hears it, that would be Iris. Rolling on the bed, and there's your cat, just in time.
So we can tell, like,
Zercap. Yeah.
When's gonna be the cat meowing?
He would actually might be sleeper pick for me. I don't think he'll go like top 6-ish, but he should be somewhere in that 7 to 12 range. So that's getting towards that. He's a little bit behind in TPE from the rest of the class, but he's very active, and he joined late. So
he joined late, but the issue, like, the thing to remember, which is not necessarily an issue, is that he's also really present on an SFL.
Yes.
The football league, and some player here, their main focus is SHL and NSFL is the second like forum. Well, for him it's the other way around. So like he's gonna be a decent player, but I like maybe it will not work as hard as some others that have like only SHL.
Yeah, I think he'll be completely consistent. Like, he's not going to just ghost or anything like that, or at least I don't think he will. And he'll be there for a long career. I just think he'll be second tier of TPE wise, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because you definitely need those depth players that are still going to be there and still contribute. And he'll
like,
be perfect for that.
He's going to be like second to third like line.
Yeah, he's
a forward.
D. No, he's a D.
Okay, so second or third pairing.
I think he'll end up as a second pairing one day. Like, some people in his draft class 10 seasons down when regression's hitting, they might be a couple hundred ahead, but it's not like with D, as long as his defense is high enough and
that's true.
His main stats that he needs for his offensive side and stuff like that, puck handling for shots blocked, and he can do those even with lower TPE. Another one I would maybe say for me as well would be Dino.
Yeah.
Just because he's not in Discord, and I think he might drop just because he's not in there, because nobody can talk to him through that. Everything's on the site.
That's only true. Like, I feel it will be scouted, but people will think maybe, oh well, he's not. The fact that he will not be as much as a locker room presence might hurt, but at the same time, maybe he's really active in like the Whalers locker room.
Yeah,
like
he just never.
So.
Yeah, he never joined the Discord for the rookies. So even if he did join the Vancouver one, I have no idea.
Well, I'll be honest though, I'm looking at his profile right now because it happened to be the same one I was looking at, and he has 95 posts, which is not a lot in a season.
Comparatively to some other ones, I would probably think it is. Like,
I don't know. I already have like 2,000 or something like that. Or
you're also in head office and have to post in there a lot.
Yeah, maybe. I guess I just like to. Oh, now we hear you.
Yeah, she got the squeaky ball over the other toy. No, play with this one. Play with this one. This one doesn't squeak because you broke the squeaker.
I'm posting 11 posts a day. That's actually crazy. But yeah, so. Well, I feel like 95 in the season is not a lot, but that's also depending of what he does. Like, if he doesn't have a job, if he... Like, that's possible, that's more than enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to see his comparable. That's a new join-up to TPE-wise. I don't know if Hypodynamic is. And he's close. No, dog, you're not getting it.
I would say Xavier Laflamme, who's
and he has 58 posts.
Okay, so it might be decent then.
Wait, go play with it. I don't care. People can hear the squeak.
If they can handle my cat, they can handle the squeak. But yeah, so like probably Dino might be hurt by his lack of Discord presence.
But at the same time, he's incredibly active on the forums.
Yeah.
And hasn't really missed very much when it comes to TPE.
Really not,
You're
actually.
annoying, dog.
So except of that, I actually don't know, because the drop is really, like, actually, no, I know who could be a sleeper pick, which is Ontanis. If he come back, because it's been 2 weeks, he's gone, but he was really, really interested in the league as far as I could tell. And if he come back, he will be that sleeper pick people are looking at. Like, he will probably be still as active as he was before, even though he lost some TP opportunity right now.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, he's been away for 2 weeks, but he was. I think he's still like 8th in TPE for his class or something like that, or maybe even
Then that's
ninth.
impressive.
Yeah. So even though he's been gone for 2 weeks, and had he been here for those 2 weeks, he'd probably be 5th and be a top 5 pick, easy.
Yeah.
So he might drop because of ghosting. He will drop because he ghosted. Yeah.
Like no one will want to draft him right now, at least not with the first round pick, because it's a high risk to take. To hope he's gonna come back and everything.
Yeah, and there's people that, while they're a much lower TPE, are at least semi-active, so you can have a consistent earner.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Our next question would be for me, and he asks...
Well, I can actually answer it too.
Yeah. You know the Season 37 prospects well as a mentor. Is there anyone that we don't really know who'd be a good locker room guy? That they don't know.
I'm gonna go look on the
Yeah, I'm looking through the Discord. I would say maybe Therix. While he hasn't chatted in the Discord for the rookies lately, he's still fairly active on the site, and he was active in the Discord for a while, but the Discord is very slow at times, and he might have just got bored with it.
Yeah. For on my part, looking at it, I would say probably like a bit of the NSFL guy that not everyone could know that seems to be a good guy, like and Zercap. Probably someone like Logan. He seems to be really like nice to talk to, as far as I could tell.
Yeah, Logan's in the St. Louis chat as well.
Okay, so like Blues fan know him, and you know him, but I don't. So
yeah, so it's kind of subjective to who actually knows him.
Yeah. So, but that would probably be those who would be active in the locker room that people might not know about.
Alright, next question is for you, and it says...
And it's wrong! Oh, sorry.
You're Halifax assistant captain.
It's not true. I'm actually the captain.
That must mean you know your team's rookies well. Who's your favorite?
Well, this season's for the rookie, we only had 2. Like, I'm expecting he's talking about season 36 rookie. We had a bit more, we drafted a bit more, but they are not active or they retired. Because that's something that happened. But as always, I cannot pick a favorite because like the 2 rookie we had, Van Holby and Leafs, are both really nice guys. Like they will always be nice to chat with. But we only had 2, so I mean, there's not a lot of choice between like to pick a favorite, so it's hard to say. Like I like them both equal.
Definitely. And even last season as an assistant captain, I'm sure you would know.
Yeah.
Assistant to the captain.
Yes. But even first it's alternate captain. But
that's the joke.
Yeah, but I'm also not the alternate captain anymore.
I am. I'll be the ass captain.
Maybe next season you'll be the captain.
Yeah, we'll see. It could be me or Ace probably, or
Who's that?
Who else is still there? Dizzy went up, so somebody has to replace Dizzy. Not necessarily me. It could be me or Ace or
or maybe one of the 2 players coming up.
Yeah, it might be Blues. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Blues got a letter or Trello.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wouldn't be surprised if Ace got the C over me, or if I got the C over him. I mean, it's really a toss-up. Those are the 4 most active on the team, though, that are still on the team. This locker room's super active, but it's all alumni now because we've lost so many people over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a pick. Like I think like it's picked by the GM for you guys, right?
Yeah. So Joe and Ryan will select who our captain is.
Yeah, for us it's a team vote, so we'll see.
Knowing Joe and Ryan, it won't be selected until like 2 weeks into the season. I think we all bugged him last season, and that's the only reason they named it before the season, and then they just made Dizzy captain again because he was only captain for like 3/4 of a season, or even like half the season from the season before, because they didn't do it until halfway through.
Oh my god.
So they're like, we'll give him a full season. I'm like, whatever, that's fine.
Well, that's a good move, and now he's gone, so he cannot steal the captaincy.
Yeah,
well,
and he got some picks from PGF.
I'm not saying that he stole, though.
No, Dizzy was the greatest captain. Alright, and finally, would you rather play for my Camp and Killer Memorial Cup team or Clint's?
I actually have no clue what this is. Is it actually still going on?
Yeah, I think Loco was planning on doing the Memorial Cup as a fantasy type of just 2-on, or 1 versus 1.
Yeah, but is it still something? Like...
I think they were going to draft this weekend or something like that.
Oh, okay. That's
and they're just going to
I thought.
Play around with it. It won't be anything official by any means, but it'll be a fun little thing to mess around with. Since it looks like Fantasy Series is dead.
Yeah, it's very dead for forever. Well,
I think they should bring back...
For the foreseeable future.
I think they should bring back, like, freshmen versus sophomores.
I don't know. Like, it's hard to say, because, the issue with that is actually finding someone willing to do it, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for the fantasy last season, like, the only simmer we found was Camp and Killer, and yeah, you saw what happened, I guess. So, like, finding someone who's willing to take care of everything, even with money involved, is actually not that easy. So, yeah, like, it's not that we don't want to do it, but for now it's the backseat. Like, for this off-season, we had enough to try to take care of with, like, all the GM leaving and all that.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, on to Connor Tanner. Can you fill out my SHL mock draft for me? No.
No.
I could say, you're going 1, your brother's going 2. The rest of it is still guesswork at this moment, and I will try and figure it out.
Yeah, I don't even know myself. Like, I don't even know who my team gonna pick, and they probably don't even know either, because, yeah.
Same with us. I mean, we don't pick till 17. It's like way down there, just like, oh, okay.
You pick what? 17? No.
And 18, and 19, and 21.
Oh, you don't have a first round?
Nope.
Oh my god, okay, yeah. You're in worse situation than us. We have a first round, but even that first round is not amazing. So, like, we'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not feeling any mock draft for anyone. Though you can try to copy it before the draft end, but that's up to you. Well,
yeah,
the draft start.
It won't be like last season, so where I actually knew like most of it ahead of time. This is gonna be literally guessing.
Yes, after the first like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think there's probably. I mean, even then, I might not get them right. At least with Edmonton, they have 3 and 4. So if I get them in the wrong order, I can still get credit. but even then, it's just guessing which one of like the those top six high-end players ends up
Yeah.
in those 6 spots.
I'm still wondering where Bojo will go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, and the worst part about that, in my opinion, is that the SHL is not ruled like the SMGHL, where any GM creating must be picked with the highest second.
Yeah, they just get to go.
Yeah, so it's not even like we can gain TP on that. It's just like, no, it's gone. Boom, a player less.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of sad of that, like, really. It was an easy TP.
Oh, well. Alright. TDZ, how do you feel about St. Louis having the second and third pick of this now very impressive Season 37 SMJHL class? So it's Season 37 of SMJHL, but then the Season 38 class, because we do that weird system.
It annoys me so much, like, all the time.
I'm excited to have 2 and 3. I mean, obviously there's some big recreates, and it ain't no lie that, or it's no secret that we're targeting some of those. It felt good for the lottery to actually pan out for once, instead of us getting jacked and getting like 7th and then Montreal's pick, even though it had the highest odds coming in like 3rd or 4th. Because that usually probably would have happened. So we had best case. I still don't think our moves are done yet. We have plans, and we'll see if we can get them done. If not, then we're stuck at 2 and 3, and that's not a bad place to be picking.
Yeah, that's a pretty good place.
I
If no
think
one
the fight,
recreate
though,
on
is,
you.
yeah.
Not recreate, but retire.
Yeah. I think the fight, though, is for one, to see who can get Crutch. And I think everybody knows that. And I don't know if we do a mock draft for SMJHL, did we? Last season?
Not as far as I remember. Like, or at least SHL players are not really doing SMGHL, but I think there is no mock draft because it can be so, like, unpredictable.
Random, yeah. Yeah. If there was one, everybody would put Crutch 1. Everybody knows it.
Like, PV was first. No, there was...
Yeah.
No, I don't... No, I'm lost.
There was no mock for that, but everybody knew PV was going first, and it was no surprise when her name was called. Even the rookies that have been there for, 4 days at this point, and there's some of them for 1 or 2, and everybody's like, yep.
Yeah, this girl is going, like, first. Like, even I knew it. And I joined it, like you said, like 3 days before.
So, we'll see. Worst case, 2 and 3. Best case, we can pull off something to get Crutch. If not, I mean, it sucks not getting Crutch, but there's some good recreates sitting there. So I'm not going to be too worried about it. It's just going to be a bidding war, because I'm assuming that most teams are going to go after that number 1 pick, and you don't want your team to be giving up too much to move up. And Kelowna is going to be looking for the most back, because they're rebuilding, so they need as many picks as they can get.
Yeah.
So while I don't know if Joe's talked to Kelowna about it, I just have to assume that he's asked at least what the price is, and we'll see if he can make a deal. If not, somebody else will make a deal. I heard Detroit was in on it, but Finn's not GM anymore, so who knows how that's going now, because they don't have a GM at the moment.
Well, it's gonna be fine. Like, I'm sure everyone know who gets what, and like everyone kind of following the league know the players, so.
Yeah. Alright.
Next up is for me. How do you feel about not having a first round pick in this now very impressive Season 37 SMGHL draft? I will say, first of all, I am not feeling as awful as Montreal is probably feeling.
Ooh, throwing some shade.
Well, I mean, Montreal is in full rebuild, and they are the only team except us with no pick in the first.
Yep, thanks for that.
So this is why, personally, I would be like really, really sad to be Montreal. And the main reason for us, in my opinion, that it's not that bad is yes, there is some really high profile recruit, but at the same time, it's still junior, so you might have them for like 2 to 3 seasons, and um, well, they won't put more than 350 TPE anyway, because it's capped.
Yeah.
So for me, having traded the pick that we had in the first round, which ended up being the 7, which is really not that bad. I mean, if we had had the second for whatever reason, I would have been sad. But the 7th is not that high, and we basically traded that pick for a really legitimate chance to a cup like in the past season in 36, and for a really legitimate chance to a cup next season as well. Because as far as I know, most of our players are down next season. So season 37, we don't have that many called up. So we still have the chance to pick at 15, like 23, a good player that will help fill the gap. But trading to acquire a first in this draft is actually really not worth it.
Yeah, it's way too deep of a draft.
Yes, we actually like had some talk with some team, and we were like, yeah, for one player it might be too much because like everyone know the high, like I said, the recruit, the high earner recruit. So every GM is kind of now, well, I have a chance to have one, so if you want one, you need to give me more than one. And we're like, yeah, no, maybe not.
Yeah.
Like, do you really want to trade like 2 picks, 3 picks maybe for one player that you will have 2 seasons when your team is basically full for the next season? That's to discuss. So
yeah, your team's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Than some of the other ones.
Well, I mean, it would have been really nice because next season, season 38, will really sting for the Raider. I mean, most of us will probably be called up.
Yeah, but like true Raider fashion, it's the Reddit draft.
Yeah, that's true actually. The winter Reddit draft.
Yeah, so you get some back, but I'm trying to look. SMJ to roster transactions. What y'all have pick-wise for that next draft?
38? I have no clue.
You have your first, and you do not have your second.
Yeah, that's actually true. The second is traded.
And your third is conditional, so you might not even get that. What is that condition?
No, I think the condition was on the second or the third. If I remember correctly, it was actually with you guys that we traded the second, and the condition was if we won the cup or any of those guys you traded us add more than 10 points in the playoff, which was not the case for both cases. So we're giving you the second.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about the second. I was talking about the third's conditional. To Detroit.
To Detroit?
For the Nylander trade.
Really?
Yep. It becomes your 4th rounder if he isn't sent down for season 37. So if he goes up next season, then you give them your 4th. If he stays down, then you give him your 3rd.
I'm lost now. Because we could have, like, as far as I understand, we could have traded a pick that we didn't had. But at the same, or maybe it's season 39 for the trade with you guys or something like that.
Let me look at ours. Now we have Halifax second next season.
That's interesting then, because like I said, I'm pretty sure we had a condition that it become a 3rd.
It's linked. I can look. Wait, let's see here. Is that season? No, you sent us a season 38 second. It's season 39, the season after.
Okay.
That is conditional. So we won't get that pick. You'll still have that one.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because, yeah, it was if y'all won the cup. Actually, we'll get your third round pick that season instead of your second.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But we have your second in the Reddit draft. In fact, Joe's been making plenty of moves for the Reddit draft, and we have a first, 3 seconds, a third, 3/4.
Oh, that's
and
actually
2/5.
plenty.
Yeah. So, depending on who gets called up, because I might be going up next season, I have no idea yet. I might come back down, but we'll lose a few people for sure, and we're gonna restock hardcore.
But yeah, so about the pick, it's sad because like it's still a pick that we would have liked it to have, but we had a decent chance for the cup, so it's fine.
No. Ace saying something about Edmonton acquiring another first round pick.
Edmonton?
Yes.
Which pick did they acquire?
I don't know. I don't see it on here. Oh, wait. Buffalo, Edmonton. There we go.
So they got Buffalo's one?
Season 37, yeah. I think it's at 12. Pick number 12. No, 8 overall. They got the 8th pick. So Edmonton now has 3, 4, and 8.
Oh, that's interesting. Like, I'm still curious. I'm not sure I would have, but they're in a rebuild, so I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, Buffalo isn't really, and they got 2 seconds out of it, but I think that's probably not a bad trade for Buffalo. It gives Edmonton more.
I'm not sure, actually, considering it. Well, Seattle and Manhattan, because that's the next draft, which is a draft that have plenty of recreate.
Yeah, so I'm thinking there's plenty in the second round for Buffalo to get some decent picks out of those 2 picks. And there was nobody probably in that 8th spot that Finn really cared about.
Yeah.
Buffalo's not hurting right now.
No, that's a good move in my opinion by them.
I think it's a good move for both. I think Edmonton might have their eye on somebody sitting there around 8. That
But next season though.
Yeah, but I mean, they want these prospects up now, and they're about to get 3 more, and they just got 3 big ones last season with Ace and Wick and Trella.
At least those ones are not
Downsky.
trading their prospect for more prospect. So.
Yeah, so I think it's build up these first now, and try and get some high end talent and see what strikes. All right.
Yeah, let's go back to questions.
Yeah. What do you guys have projected to come to your team with your first selection, Dragons and Wolfpack? Nothing?
I can't wait to see your answer. I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, y'all's first pick is 13.
Yes.
So you have a chance at something sitting there.
Yes.
I mean, we pick it.
We have a pick that could be possible, but the thing is it worth it? Like, could we trade it for something better for next season?
No.
No. No one will trade next season.
Nobody will trade this season.
But it always depends what you're offering and what you're asking for.
We offered all 4 of our seconds, and nobody would bite.
Yeah, but that's a second though. Like, 13 still have a chance to get something.
I mean, at that point, you're taking as many guesses as you would at 20.
I don't know, not that much. Like, there's some that you can, like, 20 is still 7 players more.
You look at the top, the 13th player, TPE-wise, and they're at 230, and the 20th is at 210. That's...
Yeah. I just don't want to make that decision, to be honest. Like, I'm glad to not be drafting.
So I think once you get and looking at it, it's really about pick 12. It drops off.
Yeah. So when you said you offered all 4, I'm sorry, I'm curious. In one transaction, right? Or in different?
I don't know. I know that all 4 picks were offered. I don't know details of this. I'm not a GM, and I'm not going to pry about it. I
But
just know that nobody's been biting on trades. I'm actually
Yeah.
surprised Edmonton and Buffalo got one off. But that's because Edmonton gave up seconds next season.
yeah, but yeah, for 13, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think much drops us. It's going to be taking flyers on people and seeing what happens. I kind of hope Montanus drops to us, actually. And we can take a chance because we got 4 picks right there. And
Oh yeah, and second,
why not?
It is worth like a second try.
Yeah, I think he's worth a second round pick. Just chance. See if he decides to come back and then we have him.
You guys have earlier than like 20s though. You have 17, 18, 19.
Yeah,
actually
17,
don't
18,
even
19,
have
and 21.
Yeah. We have 15 as well, actually. Huh. But yeah, I really don't know. Like I'm looking at some pick we have like 27th and 28th, and I'm like, yeah, there's nothing gonna be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's just going to be flyers at that point for us. Just like, take a chance, see if it works. Nope. Take the chance on the next one. Oh, it stuck. It's actually somebody that decided to be more active, or even be semi-active and be that depth player, as long as they can stay consistent.
Yep. So, yep.
Yeah, if I can't project because once you get down to where we're picking, it's just a bunch of people around the same TPE, and I just don't know. Alright. Next up is Clint. And it's who is currently top 5 in your mock and why?
Tanner.
Rockefeller.
Who's there?
Jamie, maybe. I mean, she's way up there in TPE, but she has a reputation with some teams.
Yeah,
and we'll see if GMs decide to.
I don't think she would enter top 5 actually.
Yeah, I don't think she will. I think she'll be right past it.
Like Portland, we all know they need defensemen, so they don't. Actually, maybe their GM is a goalie.
Yeah, he is.
Well, so they don't need a goalie. And yeah, she probably gonna. West Kendall doesn't need a goalie. Toronto, maybe.
Looking at the draft, it's she goes 5 or she might go 7 at Toronto. I mean, they have Harder, but he's old.
Yeah, I don't see her going 5. But
Hamilton needs a goalie though.
It's not the need, more, management.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I feel you, but there's a wide gap between her and the next goalie. I mean, Bojo's there, but he's not.
Yeah, but
he's going straight to his team.
At this point, yeah, so that's why she's not going 6 either. But like at this point, is it worth maybe waiting one more season to have someone that would fit better your team?
Yeah, but who knows if a goalie is that active that next season, because she's second.
Oh, I know. Like I feel you really hard with that. Like, but that's the thing. Like maybe she could go. Like, but everything depends of like who the management of like Hamilton want to pick.
Yeah, I see 5-7. If not, then she drops, just because of the teams that are sitting there.
Yeah.
But I don't think she makes it past 5 or 7. To be honest, 7 would be the drop, because at that point she's so much higher TPE than the rest. You can't just not take it.
Yeah. Except of her, who could go 4 and 5?
Peanut Butter, I think.
Who's
Banana
that?
Storm.
I have no
Banana
clue.
Storm or whatever.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, tied for third highest TPE. I think ERM might sneak in there, to be honest. He joined late, and he's been storming up the TPE charts. So extremely active, even though he's in an SFL. First, he's been great over here. Hasn't missed anything so far. Had he not joined late and been there for the draft of the rest, I think he's top 4 or 5 in TPE.
So yeah, it could be a really good choice. Maybe I want to be mean, but Jordan Ryder or not.
Yeah, somebody select him, please.
Probably maybe Xavier Laflamme, who's
Yeah,
hypodynamic.
I could see him maybe sneaking in there too. Even Stevens.
Yeah, Mattis Cockins, Big
Fingerer
Sass.
Cockins.
Nah. But Big Sass maybe could go in the top 5. And except of that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a guessing game.
Even at 5, it's hard to decide who would go.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I see Rockefeller going 3 or 4. I don't see Edmonton getting past him. It just depends on if they want to select him as 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
So it's really who Edmonton selects with that second one, which could be a wide variety, and then Hamilton at 5 could be whatever's left of that variety. Or if they decide to go quickly. But who knows?
Oh god, cat. Sorry.
That's fine. Alright. It's pretty evident where Jack Tanner and Connor Tanner go. Where do you think Barbie goes? And for people that don't know, Barbie Tanner is the 3rd brother.
Sister? Well,
Sister, brother.
Triplet. But yeah, she's the 3rd Tanner. Or, well, E, because I'm pretty sure that's a he as the player, but, like, the player is a girl. Yeah.
I've seen Barbie as a boy name in some areas too, though.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like Ashley, where I've seen Ashley as a guy's name.
Yeah, but they have media saying, like, she and everything, so.
Oh, see, I didn't notice that, so I don't know if it was a he or she, technically.
Yeah. So where would they fall?
I think
clearly,
early 2nd round.
Yeah, clearly not clearly not 1st. Yeah, probably like 2nd round, especially for teams that have a lot of pick, like you or us. Like that
I
could
think
be a good try.
I think they're sitting around like 17th-ish in TPE.
Yeah, they're actually not that far. Like if I compare to Connor Tanner, like only 40 TPE like difference, which, well, it's still a lot, but like it's not bad for someone that joined it like so late.
Yeah, I mean, joined like 2 days after Connor, I think, or something
like that.
No,
the same day.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, same day, but that's like, if we compare, like, both of them joined August 11th, and the recreation, the off-season post was July 31. So that's almost like, well, that's 11 days later. And there are only like 40 TP behind or something.
Yeah. I see somewhere between 15 and like 24, depending on just if people let them slide. She slide.
That player.
I don't know what Calgary does with their picks. I give, my opinion on people because I'm a mentor to Essa, and let him do with it what he will. I don't select players.
Yeah, like, for me, that will actually be pretty similar. Like my GM already said, like, oh, if we ask your opinion on player, will you, like, help us out? And I'm like, yeah.
He does the scouting, and I do my own, because when he asks me a question, I can be like, oh, let me go reference it, so I don't have to sit here and go look on the forums and stuff like that. And, I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, yeah, you gotta do this and do this and do this. It's just like, hey, what do you think about this player? So-and-so is like this. And that's pretty much how it is. And I'm sure come draft night, when we see who's left, when it comes to us, I'll get a quick PM like, hey, what do you think about these players?
So you're gonna have to look the PM box.
Yeah.
Because it's Essa.
He will get on Discord for something. So he was actually on night before last or last night. I don't even remember which one.
I would suggest him in matter of efficiency, like to be on Discord to do that, but like
I think you have to be on Discord for the draft, don't you?
uh probably, but it always depends.
Yeah.
It always depends what the GMs use. I have no clue because it's SHL, but like for example, SMGHL do use Discord for the draft, so.
Yeah, I think they do. I think that's why he had one in the first place.
That would make sense. So you might not have to check your PM box. That would be
Yeah.
like maybe Discord.
I'll just get the message like popping up like, "Hey, hurry!"
Help us! All right, so that was the answer for Barbie. Next
What
up.
season 38 rookie draftees have you noticed so far? And I guess he specifically said rookies, so we're gonna avoid recreates.
Oh, Blaster, which is NSFL.
Blaster Blade or something. Yeah, he was on my team in Colorado there before I retired.
Yeah.
Pretty active. I'd say for me, Thunder.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thunder too as well.
Yeah, Thunder's been really active. Really excited to be on the site too. So if somebody doesn't take him in the first round, I guess if people want to just keep getting recreates because it's a known thing, that's understandable because it happens. But if he's not one of the first like 2 or 3 rookies taken, then somebody's messed up.
That's true. For me, also, Bobby Watson, because he's someone
Yep.
I know IRL, actually. So, yeah, it's hard to miss.
That was going to be the other person I was going to say.
Yeah, so it's hard to miss him, I mean, when you know him.
Yeah, it's growing pretty quick. There's a lot of rookies, and a lot of which are not a lot of which, when they get in the chat and start talking, they can get a little active, and then they'll go off about and do their own certain things. And it's a lot like the other chats. Like Season 36 dies all the time for hours on end.
Well, especially on weekend, I mean.
Yeah. Weekends are dead on every chat.
Weekends dead.
Alright, thoughts on Tannis ghosting. We already kind of covered that,
Sad.
so we could skip
really
that.
sad.
So sad. I love that kid.
Tannis, come back.
Any recreates in Season 37 you think will drop, not counting the Barlow boys?
Block.
J-May?
It's a possibility.
Yeah, that one's just if, like I said, 5'7". If it doesn't go there, she's gonna tumble.
Except of that, Season 37,
Who else is even a recreate?
Braum.
Oh, he's not even eligible, so that doesn't really count.
Well, he's still like recreate in Season 37.
Hey, Blue Mitlam is technically a recreate.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, there was actually not that much recreate. At least not active on Discord that we could see.
Yeah, Rain would be the other one, and he hasn't been on Discord lately, and I think he missed a couple updates, but he's still not like gone or anything. He just missed a couple things and dropped like a spot or so on the charts, but still ahead of a lot of people. So, I mean, that might drop him like a spot or two, but I don't see him dropping really far. There's like what 3-4 recreates. That's it.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
New England and Calgary combined to take up 7 out of 14 second-round picks. Do you think they use some of these to get a first?
No.
And as I said, we apparently have offered our picks. I don't know what for.
Don't we have 8 of them?
I think y'all have 3.
No, we have 4. We have 4.
Oh, you have 4. So we have 8.
We have 8. Then you're shooting like probably. But yeah, like so Calgary seems to have to trade up. I don't know if we did, but like if Calgary didn't manage it, we won't because we have even like later pick than them.
Yeah. I don't know if we tried to trade up with them, to be fair. I just know we tried to trade them.
Okay. But I don't think that's gonna be possible. To be honest, like I mean, no one's there in the second round, so that's
yeah. I think the GMs caught on very quickly that this draft is very shallow, and had trades not been done before the season, luckily, or in the mood of rebuilding ahead of time to get a higher first round, then you're not getting one. There's nothing there. You can't even trade them for future picks because the future picks would have a better chance than the ones now. What would be a more accurate sim engine, STHS or DICE? Well, I'm going to assume that STHS, as it is an actual sim engine, would be more accurate.
Well, the difference, like, one of the things to keep in mind is that while Simon T. Hockey Simulator is not perfect, it's still a pretty decent one for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, because sure some engines are stronger and more developed, like EHM, I think that's only that EHM, Eastside Hockey Manager, and FML, Franchise Hockey, FHM, Franchise Hockey Manager. They are stronger, but they don't get the same like output for players and everything that Simon T has.
Yeah. I think until something else gets made entirely or STH gets updated, there won't be anything better. I know Fridge was working on one. Yeah, I know Fridge was working on one, but I haven't seen anything on that lately and don't know how that's going. Or if it's on the back burner for now because he might have gotten busy with stuff like a lot of us did. And even then, with his initial test for his engine, I noticed scoring was through the roof compared to what we have now. So, and there's going to be problems with no matter what sim engine you have, and everybody's going to nitpick and bitch about something. So, everybody's used to this. It's worked for 37 seasons now, 36 seasons now.
And more.
Yeah, and then other sim leagues as well. So, it's consistent, at least. It's shitty, but you know how it's going to be shitty.
It's simple, it's easy to use, and it's still doing the job for what we want. So
yeah, and I think it is. I mean, you know what it's going to do consistently. So you know the scoring's going to do this, puck handling's going to do this. For the most part, it might have a little bit of randomness in there, but DICE would be completely random.
But the thing is, randomness is necessary for a simulation engine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're not going to have fun if you're like, oh, that's the better team, they're going to win every single time.
Yeah, any simulation engine will have that element of randomness because it's the same thing in real life. Like, a player can have a really good puck handling and still lose the puck sometime because, like, it happened, you do a mistake. So that the engine recreate that with randomness, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you have these snipers that are going to go on droughts that can't score, and playmakers that are going to start just giving up the puck in some games. It happens. And that's something that the sim can't account for, but it does in a very well way by making it random. So while you might give up the puck or have a bad couple plays in a game, where in real life you might have a bad week or even a bad month.
Yeah, so for me, Simon T is really, really solid for what we want out of it.
What SHL teams who made the playoffs this season will either drop off and miss/drop off, but slightly make it? And it's kind of confusing wording, but I'm assuming which ones made it and won't next season, and which ones kind of are on the bubble.
Blah. Let me see who was in the playoff. I would assume that he's talking SHL because SMGHL have no surprise.
I think Toronto misses next season.
Toronto could miss. Seattle could miss, but I think they were pretty decent this season. So
Yeah, I don't think Seattle's going to take any hits. If anything, they're going to get a little bit stronger.
yeah.
Um,
Except that, who could do the playoff? West Kendall will probably take Toronto's spot.
yeah, that's what I would assume. But even then, they're more of a border spot, and Manhattan's over there too, and they're decent as
True.
well. So I mean, it's tough. I think Toronto's the team that's definitely going to miss, and then Buffalo is a chance, but I don't see Buffalo missing.
But yeah, except of that, I'm like, blah.
Yeah, and like I said, the border teams would be like West Kendall, Manhattan. In the West, I think it's pretty clear cut who the bad teams are in the West.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to miss.
Like, those kind of questions will be, in my opinion, easier to answer, like, in 2 or 3 seasons. When we're actually going to start to pay really good attention to what's happening.
Yeah, it's hard to know when you're just kind of, like, halfway keeping up with SHL because your player's still in juniors, and that's what you more care about. So, like, I could tell you these junior stats and, you know, how well a lot of people are doing down there, but I couldn't tell you much of the SHL off of what some Calgary players do and then some of the higher players.
Well, even, like, I'll be honest, the only thing I followed in the SHL is the playoff because New England was in. Else, I would not have, like, checked it all.
I kept up with a little bit because of fantasy, and that helped me because I ended up winning.
Fantasy is something you, like, for me at least, you pick, you forget. And I actually ended up still being third in my group, so that was pretty good, I guess. Or fourth, I don't know. 1 TPE for it. But, like...
Yeah, that would be fourth.
Yeah, I'm not caring enough, like, about TP coming from there to, like, really want to win, so I just pick and forget for the whole season.
I mean, like, I spend the time for the few days that you're picking. Pretty hardcore on that. And
few days. For us, I think it was, like, few hours.
Oh, you get some groups that are slow about it.
Yeah.
So you end up hitting the marks. I think we had some people that hit the 18-hour mark, and we skipped a couple times.
Oh, God.
And then they came in and picked, like, 2 people, and then they got skipped, like, twice in a row again. I think they were like the 7th pick, so they got skipped from 6 to 8. To 8, and then 8 went, and then 1 went, and then they got skipped again. So it's not like it was a lot of players, like, going ahead of it too badly, whereas people were getting better stuff. But I think we ended up replacing them, and then they got skipped too. So all the teams were getting better stuff, and I ended up coming out on top somehow.
Well, that's a good thing then. Like,
Yep,
I would
10
be
TPE.
happy. I would be happy. Oh, so that's why you like catching up on me.
Yep, that's why I'm only like 3 behind you now.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Alright, what SHL teams will improve this season from last season?
That kind of go well, like, along with what we mentioned.
To an extent. I think Hamilton's going to definitely improve over what they had.
If they call up everyone, they will improve.
No, I mean, even just what they have. Goonie's going to get higher, their D's is going to get higher. They have a lot of young players, even even if they left most of their prospects down, and they're getting Phelps for sure. So I think Hamilton definitely.
That he's going up?
I mean, he has to be, doesn't he, at this point?
No, he would still have a season down, I think.
Yeah, but there's no way he stays down another season. Hamilton's got to be starting making moves. I want to say Sleepy's going up, so they're definitely ready to start calling people up.
That's true. So yeah, if they start to call people up, some of the rookie have really high TP like earning and everything, so that's going to be interesting to follow them up.
Yeah. Alright, thoughts on all these GM jobs opening up at one time? And as I said earlier.
Can I cut my, like, neck right now? Like, that's a pain. Like, really a pain.
Yeah.
Don't do that, like, guys, please. Don't all leave at the same time.
It's easy with Vancouver because you're just gonna have to.
Yeah, it's easy for some team, but it's still we still have to open the application, like, let player apply.
I mean, you never know who's gonna apply. It could be somebody much more qualified. So it's not a guarantee that Teddy gets it, but I think he's probably the favorite to get it by far, barring something crazy. Just because he's so familiar with the team, he's already been they've done well, and he has GMing experience with Canada, and so I think he's the favorite for that. PGF and Detroit are a little bit harder to fill.
Detroit always depends who's applying. Like, head office, I have a couple of names in mind that we're looking if they're gonna apply or not. But like, it's like, what's painful about opening the GM's position and everything, especially now, is like I mentioned earlier, we wanted to do the draft as early as possible. That was gonna be like this weekend or early next week. And the fact, like, everyone, like, moved at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't mind people leaving, but, like, maybe not just before the draft.
And all at once.
Oh, yeah. Like, 1 or 2 before the draft, it's like, okay, it's not the end of the world, we can get the application rolling fine and everything, but, like, 3 at the same time, and we just had the Kelowna as well. It's like, please, guys, stop.
Alright, who do you consider your team's biggest rival? I gotta say Detroit for us. They've knocked us out of 2 of the last 3 playoffs. Fuck those guys.
I don't know. I will say that we really disliked Vancouver, but, like, because they did not get off. Like, they won the final twice in a row. And
they also beat you out for that first overall 2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago? Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we came in. That's why they picked first and got PB.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, fuck Vancouver. Okay, that's it. Sorry, Vancouver, and no offense, but full offense.
Any big players on your team entering free agency this season that you're worried about? That I'm worried about? No.
Either. Like, no.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Joe's a free agent, but I don't see him going anywhere.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't see, like, personally, I don't even know who's FA and who I should be worried about in my team.
Yeah, on your team, I'm not sure. I know the 2 big ones are like LKS, Schroeder, which is. I don't even know if there's 2 big ones. I know he's the big one.
Okay.
Can't remember the username.
Yeah. Okay. Season 37 free agent. Let's go see if I can get some name out of that. So we have Tim for New England, Tim Elliott, Brent Kennedy, Art Van Dale. Okay, so right now, like, I'm reading name that I'm like, what? So there's
Kennedy would be big.
Kennedy, like, that's it. Kennedy would be big. Tim Elliott would be like, that would sting, but, like, we could deal with it. I kind of don't want McCarthy to hit free agent and leave, and Morinov just retired. So, like, maybe we sign. That's without considering any signing that could have happened today. Or recently, because I have no clue. But, like, the biggest one would be Brett Kennedy, in my opinion, for the Wolfpack.
Where is this free agent list at?
I'm gonna send it to you. It's in player thing stuff.
That's very helpful.
I sent it to you on Discord. It's an SHL roster transaction, actually.
Oh, okay. The general transactions. Alright, yeah, Mixer also a free agent, but yeah.
Let's see.
For us, Joe's the big one. Obviously, Essa's our GM, and he ain't going anywhere, even if he's a free agent. Alex Mack would be another big one. He's in regression, but he's like one of our top 2 centers. So can't see him leaving, hopefully, as long as we can lock him down. But I haven't talked to him, so I have no idea what's going on with that. And I would say Thaddeus Prince, our goalie, because he's one of our 2 goalie prospects. And Wong is so deep into regression at this point that he probably won't be starting next season.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think, Sebastian Strange is the other one I was thinking about. Him and LKS, which is Ludwig Koch Schroeder from Buffalo. I think that's who people are going to be after, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna go after anyone right now, to be honest.
I don't know what our cap space and stuff is. I'm sure we got to ask at least.
That's funny to see, like, Los Angeles Panther have Lucas Muller as a UFA, and you're like, but Lucas Muller is on our team, and it's like, oh yeah, that's true. There's another one. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for what I would say about free agent. And the 2 next questions are weird, so I don't want to answer that.
Okay. I think that is it. Refresh just to check. Yep.
Okay. So thank you everyone for all the questions. We really appreciate to receive them and answer to you.
Yep. I love that y'all help us make money.
Yeah, kinda. Like, it helping the training and more than the training. Because we get like 1.5 million.
Yeah. It's helping because equipment busted me the other day.
And that costs so much. Like, I have the money. Like, that's not the issue. But each time I'm buying those equipment, I'm like, ouch. It's just like, ouch.
Yeah, I mean, I spent... I bought training and then the equipment, so I think it was 9.5 mil that I just spent, like, right there. I was just like, there's 10 million gone.
Yep, and you're like, but nothing is coming, like, right now. Like, we're gonna have a few off-season pay, like, updater for you, mentor, for me, PvP director.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get my money and it'll come back, but it sucks right now looking at your bank account, and I'm like,
well, I don't know that feeling.
Yeah, I know.
Though I don't look at my bank account on the website because it's never accurate. Like, it makes sense, but sometimes it's so off, and you're like,
yeah.
Calgary
hasn't been updated in like a month, so I'm just going off of what I know I have. I should be at like 2 million left, something around that.
Yeah, like for example, some job payout haven't been paid since like last season, so
yeah,
it's like, yeah, maybe it should be time to update it.
But I'll get the mentor and the updater pay, and that'll be like 12 million or so.
Oh, so that's pretty decent.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it could be less. I don't know, but I'll get a decent chunk from that. That'll pay for my training back at least, and then I still have my contract, which is only like 2 million for next season, but it's something.
I don't even count my contract.
Yeah, yours pays for half a training.
Yeah, that's actually it. And then alpha training in the a contract.
And then I got a play-by-play bonus going in, so that's a nice little extra.
Yeah, PvP bonus are...
Yeah, I think I made 4 mil off that.
Yes, you did. Like, I'm probably the best person to tell you how much you did.
Yeah.
So that helped a bit, like, for...
Yeah, it'll boost me right back up. So, but this is always helpful because it keeps me right afloat.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. Hopefully we'll get some more questions next week, and we're still thinking about this guest thing.
We still have pretty decent questions for this episode, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. So thanks again, everybody. Till next week.
Yep. See you, everyone.
Bye.